Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special stream to kick off Season 10, our anniversary season. This is what's known as Silly Season in MRC. Tonight we will reveal the teams for the upcoming season and for the drivers who will be your new teammate and obviously who will be your rivals. The champions have chosen their teams. These were revealed to the league in a sneak peek on Friday, but now it's time to reveal them to everybody. As always, our league volunteers get to nominate some car choices. For admins, they get to nominate 3. Stewards and commentators get to nominate 5. All cars otherwise were chosen at random and are, where possible, based on our unique power ranking system. So generally, seat 1 will be within the top 10 of the power rankings, seat 2 will generally be within the bottom. This does not apply to tier 4 as that was done completely at random, and obviously for those moving tiers we will explain as we get to them, but this rule does not apply. The randomisers are fired up for the evening and ready to go. Anyway, enough waffling from me, let's introduce my compadres for the evening who will help in the announcing of the new teams. So first up is my comms buddy. Where there's one, there's usually the other. It's the other half of the M&Ms. It's Mark Hodgson. Good evening.
Good evening, my friend. Good evening, how are we?
Very good. Quite ready to do this and kick off the new season, really.
I know. This is going to be... Well, I think it's going to be an exciting season. Obviously, it's a big landmark. 10 seasons of MRC. I mean, it's exceptional. And in that time, the amount that we've grown, and it's just the drivers we've got as well. It's this season is just a landmark. You've touched on it. We've touched on it in previous commentary broadcasts in the last couple of weeks or so, and it's a season of classics, classic races, classic tracks, classic countries. This is going to be epic, absolutely epic.
It certainly is. So let's get down to the other compadre for the evening. I mean, what would be complete without Mother Superior himself? He started this all for us back in 2020, during lockdown. So, without further ado, it's Mr. Martin Hills. Good evening.
Evening, lads. How are we doing?
Very well, thank you. What about yourself?
I'm ready. I don't know about you, but I'm actually quite excited about this tonight. It's going to be quite an event, I reckon, because we've got some... like you say, it's an interesting and exciting season ahead, and I think people are really quite sort of glued to their screens to find out what's going to happen tonight. We've had a lot of people bugging us, haven't we? So I think we're going to get a lot of happy people tonight.
Well, we're currently, I believe, 31 people live.
Wow, already? Wow.
Yep. So people are really excited for this.
So well, we're not going to start announcing until we've got at least 60.
Ooh, that's evil. So let's have a quick look what the randomizer throws up for the first tier. Ooh, the one where I was champion. It will be tier 3 first.
Ooh.
So
hey, tier 3 first, huh? Okay.
Let's see what we get for the first team. That will be spinning away. The first team is the Scuderia themselves, Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Ah.
So who we got first?
I shall let the boss man himself take the lead.
Okie doke. Right. Well, in that case, the first person who's going to get announced in this stream is 38.
The tier 4 champion from last season.
Indeed.
What a way to start.
Certainly, he must be a big Ferrari fan. And for those watching, we've actually got Mr. Red Car Rambo in a Ferrari. That's unheard of. So, who is the other one that will be joining him, Mr. Hodgson?
The other one joining him this season, I should say, is Mr. Melvin de Graaf. Mr. Melvin 103105. I hope that's not his date of birth, because wow, I feel old, and 2, he's done it Americanized. Sorted. But yeah, Mr. Melvin is going to be joining our reigning Tier 4 champion in the Ferrari next season.
And Melvin's
maybe
quite
it's
happy.
1905.
He's just pops up in YouTube comments going whoop whoop. So he must be happy with his new car for the season.
Happy days. He's back apparently. I don't know where he's been, but you know, he's back.
He's had a few weeks off, hasn't he?
Ah, he did.
So the next team to be announced will be the other Scuderia, the AlphaTauris. So who have we got there, Mr. Martin?
So AlphaTauri. So first name out of the hat is Rasher. It's Rotterdam.
Ah, the Rotterdam himself.
Ah.
And who will be his teammate this season?
That will be the gentleman that we gave a nickname to because we can't pronounce him. It is James Donny, or Donny Osmond as we like to call him. He has stepped up. I think he stepped up from Tier 4, hasn't he, this season? So, yeah, kudos for the promotion. I think he was second or third in Tier 4 and stepped up to Tier 3, and he is going to be partnering in Rotterdam, or RS10 as we now say, in the AlphaTauri.
I think that could be quite a strong pairing, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, both pairings that have come out so far are relatively strong.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see what comes out next. Mr. Genius says, sorry, Gav hacked my game and made my game crash. No French team on stream tonight. Ah, yes, he was the Alpine, which has now been disqualified.
Oh, how?
And, funnily enough, speaking of the Alpine, it's the next team to be announced. So who we got there, Mr. Hills?
So the next one to go up is going to be... It's Frank Martin.
Ah, the Ghost Rider.
Indeed.
It's bad when you know half of the names without even looking.
Well, you do the results every week,
I
so...
spend too much time looking at spreadsheets with names on.
Yeah.
And who is his teammate then?
His teammate is one of our newest joiners, and when he has raced, he has been very, very solid driver, must I admit. So looking forward to seeing what he does in a full-time seat. His name is John Raysbeck, or Raybeck, otherwise known by his PSN is Mutsnuts. So he is the absolute dog's hoo-has, and hopefully he'll be the dog's hoo-has this season. And I think that is a very strong lineup from what we've seen of Mr. Mutz.
Yeah, he has
And we
been
know of
relatively
Ghost Rider.
strong when he's raced. And
He has.
Ghost Rider, I know from experience, I was battling him in the 100% on Friday.
Yeah,
He
he's.
is
I think he's
very
reserved in
strong.
Tier 2 a bit, and he is very, very good, yes.
So let's see what comes up next.
Don't forget, whilst we're randomising, that actually all of these are being announced in the driver lineup area of the Discord page as well. So make sure that you're in Discord, and you can then get confirmation of exactly who's where visually as well.
Very good point there, Mr. Hills. Next up will be the car that one of our longest standing members is driving tonight. It's the Haas.
The Hassholes.
Yes, the Hassholes. I know we've got a few
Well,
people not wanting the Haas.
Well, I think give it a couple of races. I think people are going to want to be in the Haas for this season. But anyway, the first name is Boothie.
Has been retained by Gunther.
Yeah, he has.
And who is his teammate? I remember
His
this one was
teammate
quite shocking.
is- Yeah, and how can I say this politically correctly? The man who is technically his partner in crime in general in Discord, I'd have to call it. The man who is known for his memes and just pure randomness. And I'm not talking about Gav when I say this. I am talking about JK, and Mrs. Da Convertible is joining him in the Haas.
I'm sure that will soothe the not wanting a Haas, because I know they've been wanting to team for quite a few seasons. I must admit, I was quite surprised when it came up on the wheel, but
Yeah.
it spoke. We go with it.
Exactly.
So there we go, that's your Haas boys. Let's see who we're going for next. That will be your least favourite team, Mr. Hodgson, the Red Bulls.
Ooh.
So who is the first driver out of the hat, Mr. Hills?
The first Red Bull driver for Tier 3 it's Connor himself.
Mr. Hardy, who's currently driving the McLaren.
Get out.
It's alright, it's the Tier 3 McLaren. You're safe enough. And who's his partner in crime?
His partner in crime is also on track. He's currently also now suddenly in the one car. Is one of our most, well, again, another senior steward, senior member of the team, and it is the baby of the duo. Is he the cleverest? Well, he might be.
Judging by the other one's name.
Well, judging by the other one's name, exactly. Judging by his brother, it's Simon Pratt, or Baby Hornet, is it the other Red Bull? Two good friends, and that'll be a nice pairing. I like that pairing.
I still remember when I asked him that live on stream if he's the clever one.
I know, I remember that.
That was a little bit evil, but hey ho, he's got himself a new car for the season.
He does. I know. He could have chosen better, but that's personal taste.
Yeah,
which we won't go into tonight. We're supposed to be
just
impartial.
spun. Oh, Geke, sorry.
No, it was Geke.
A little bit of a pile up coming up. So we have the team that Mr. Anton is driving for this evening. That will be what we affectionately call the barber shop, the Alfa Romeos.
And from this year, the barber shop at midnight, isn't it?
Yeah, I must admit I do like the new version.
I know, it looks so much nicer, and the red and the black suits it rather than the red and the white, I think, personally. But I think we're all kind of in agreement, aren't we?
Yep. So who's the first name out of the hat?
It is Konnichiwa Beach, that's Sherwin Andrews.
Former Tier 4 champion. So Frederick Vasseur goes from Alfa Romeo to Ferrari and sends one of the drivers back to his old team. And who's the other name out of the hat?
This is dead easy because his real name is the same as PSN. It is Hugo Braun, or Hugo Boss, as I like to call him. I
remember Mr. Braun. Quite a strong driver. Was with us for a little bit last season and he's recently returned.
Yep.
So he's just got
good driver.
Got himself a full-time seat. Like we always say, reliable reserves will get seats.
Exactly that. If you check in every week, if you make yourself available, you're in line for the full-time permanent seat. Should one, which they generally do, due to life, does come available. So exactly that. You're right.
So the next one up is what I would say is probably both of your favourite team. It's the McLarens.
Chef kiss, moi, the beautiful.
And I know Mr. Hills has an affinity for the McLaren because it's all we ever used to see him in.
I'm just desperately worried about them for the new season. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's unfortunate, but
yeah.
Who's the first name out?
It is Rob Smith.
The Smithio, who is currently driving the Toblerone Triangle.
Can't have it all your own way. I can't talk because I like Mercedes, but you know.
Well, he's moving from Mercedes to McLaren. I would say that's not a bad switch. That.
In fairness, I did that.
Yeah, you did.
So I can't say anything. I'm in the completely wrong position to say anything at all.
I still remember announcing that as he's defected.
I know. I was with you. I was like, yes, I know.
I spelled defective wrong.
Who will be his teammate for the season?
A driver who I think personally is a very strong driver, and I've had a lot of battles with this man, as a few of us have, and I love going wheel to wheel with it. It is the man called Neil Edwards, or Neil 1997. is in the McLaren next season.
Another one who can be quite strong on his day as well.
Exactly that.
Was a reserve for a long time, and I think he was an AlphaTauri last season for about half the season.
Yeah. I'm actually just going to go back. Sorry, I'm going to go back to some of the YouTube chat before we go. And Donnie mentioned I actually pronounced his name perfectly, and I can't remember how I actually pronounce it now, because that's going to be upset me. But apparently I said it really well. What do I call it? Judoni?
What, James?
Judoni? Yeah, James. Yeah, James. James, I pronounced that perfect, beautifully well in my northern, what do you call it, dulcet tones.
James!
Yes, James.
Valtteri, it's James.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I just went back to YouTube. Sorry, let's go.
So, moving on, we have the next team out. I know Martin quite likes the new car, especially. It's the Aston Martins, Team Stroll.
Yeah, I think that's a team to watch this season. Not necessarily in ours, not necessarily. Well, I'm not saying that these guys won't do well in our season. Just to be clear, I just meant in real life. Although actually, having looked at the first one out of the hat as to who it is, they probably are doomed. To be honest with you. So I'm very sorry to break it to whoever your teammate is, but whoever it is lumbered with you, Gav.
Oh no, not the Gav. I hope the teammate's strong.
Well,
His name is Night Shadow Safety Car, isn't it? So, you know.
It is when it comes to his restarts. 5 mile an hour.
Yeah.
I swear it just wants to put everyone to sleep.
And to be fair, should these two party up, they will have their own language.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
It is. They are both north of the wall in the Wildling territory. And it is Danny Hall, RFC Danny. And that's going to cause a lot of rifts. There's a green and white and the blue kicking in that team.
Yeah, a Celtic fan and a Rangers fan in the same team. Ooh, that could get spicy.
They're either going to kill each other or they're going to have Scottish camaraderie.
Yeah, possibly. Wanting to beat all the English.
Exactly that.
And obviously the other nations that we've got as well.
Of course. Plenty of them now.
We're not just limited to the United Kingdom, we're pretty much all over the world.
I think we're only missing Australasia. I think is the only continent as such we're missing, unless I'm wrong, Martin, but that's all I know. Alex, Edrix, assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam.
We definitely cover a lot.
Yeah, we've not got anyone from down under, but that's not entirely surprising.
Yeah, I think the time difference is a bit too dramatic of a change.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be sort of very early morning when we race.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
I'm surprised that Doris can manage it from, is it Hong Kong?
Yes, he is. You're right. Well, we found that out on live a few weeks ago. I found it, I don't know, was I with yourself? And yeah, we found it.
Yes.
Yeah, on one of the provinces. That I couldn't believe that. That's superb, absolutely fantastic. But yes, and we've got obviously Alex in Qatar. We've got a few Americans with us, of course, who we will bring up when their name gets drawn. But yeah, I love it.
So the next team we will work with is Lewis Hamilton's team. It's the Triangles, Mercedes.
Well, you see, everyone's taking the Mickey now, but everyone wants the black one when that comes out, don't they?
It is very nice, even I've got to admit that.
It is gorgeous. That's why I swapped. And I noticed it went silver and I left again.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, all of the team graphics that we're uploading right now into the driver lineup area of Discord, which I don't think many people are looking at right now because we're not getting any reactions to any of these, they all show the new 2023 cars, by the way.
Nice.
So anyway, the first person who is going to be driving for Mercedes in Tier 3 is Carl Radband. That's Bildy Baldy.
He's 17.
Let's hope he stays another day.
Exactly.
And who's his teammate?
I think this is again a very strong lineup. A man I'm sure he's practicing no assists as well. He's been training with, I think it's the Bergen Calvin group, who are a strong group. It's Bart Van. Oh, damn it! I was going well then. Schindel, Bart Van Schindel, or Jackster, is in the Mercedes with E17.
I always want to say Schnitzel when I see his name.
Yeah. Sorry, Bart. I know we're joking, but yeah, we're English, we're British. We don't do languages very well.
Speak for
So we
yourself.
apologise. Well, okay, yeah, actually, yes, you do. I don't. I'm Northern. I barely speak English.
What?
Exactly.
We speak our own English, it's fine.
Exactly.
I'm not catching a word of it. Not at all.
So that leaves us with one final team to announce for Tier 3. That would be the Willy Boys.
The Willy Boys in what I think is one of the best looking cars on the grid in 2023. Anyway, first up is Ty Clear.
Mr. Tyrone. He's been with us a little while now, a few seasons at least.
He has. I would have to. I would like to agree with you, Martin. It's just the whole steering wheel setup they can't get away from, and it drives me insane.
I really don't like that Duracell battery at the top either.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I think it makes it look
is
tacky.
cool. No, it looks. I like it. I mean, they're pretty stuffed when it runs out, but otherwise, I think it's fine. I like it. But his teammate is a returner. One of our members who joined, I'm going to say end of Season 2, Season 3, left for a little while, was actually joined the league as a commentator, and then decided, spoke to me, I remember, back in the early MRCX days, the original MRCX, that he wanted to race, did so, and was a very strong racer. He left for a little while, for about a season or two, and now he's back with us, and he's back in a full-time Tier 3 seat. It is Mr. Jacob Jones, or the Fire Rooster, or the Cock of Fire, as Gav likes to call him.
That's going to be a strong pairing. I'd watch out Tier 3, he is a former champ.
Yeah, he's a very, very strong driver. That, for me, is such a strong tier. There are race winners up and down that grid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, I think there's some people in there who are definitely, they're going to be extremely competitive at the top end, and they would give a lot of people in Tier 2 a very good run for their money, it's got to be said. So it's, I think Tier 3 is almost Tier 2.5 this season.
Yep, totally agree with you on that one. Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be quite a strong tier. I think anybody could win a race every week.
Yeah, pretty much we could. We've got 13 race weekends or race weeks, and I think you're right. It's not out of the realms of possibility that you could have 13 race winners. And every single driver could end up on the podium at some point.
Which would make it quite interesting, at least.
Oh, as long as I'm not commentating, I think I would lose my mind, my voice, everything. To be honest, I wouldn't know what's coming or going because it's so competitive.
Really is. So the next tier we shall announce. It's our tier.
Ooh,
The Tier 2.
I thought you were going to say 4.
4.5.
Tier 5. Yeah.
So Andrew up into North is not. That's Yorkshire, lad. That'll be Bradford. That'll be Chris Bailey territory. That'll be Yorkshire. We
That'll
don't
be my
do tea
territory
up
then.
North. That'll be your territory, lad. Aye.
Do it for Yorkshire.
Exactly, lad. When you sit down at pint end of night, when you put combine in shed, you'll be laughing, lad. You'll be right. You'll be right.
You turned that on
What's
very well.
happening? 'Cause,
I went kind of half full blown Yorkshire.
Oh dear. I feel like my brain cells are being damaged by this conversation.
That was more Yorkshire than me.
Yeah, but I think South Yorkshire has... it's a lot subtler than North Yorkshire.
I was West Yorkshire, but lived in North Yorkshire for about 10 years.
Yeah, it's... I remember where I know you do, Andrew. I love you too, mate. Great team, mate. But it's... I used to sit in my local pub on an evening, and the farmers did come in quite late, and I purposely went and just sat at the bar, waiting long for a pint, just to sit and overhear them talking, the farmers, and it was honestly, it was it was just incredible the way they would talk. I didn't understand a word, and I lived near there. They're outrageous. The accent is just fantastic.
To be fair, I delivered for Amazon in some of the really remote locations in North Yorkshire, and I couldn't understand them properly.
No, not at all.
And I lived in Yorkshire
for
36 years. And I still don't understand some of it.
I'm just looking in the Discord chat. Boothie has just pointed out that despite this being at random, in the 5 seasons he's been in McLaren twice and has 3 times.
Oh, wow. Has he? Oh, boy.
Well, he can at least not complain about his teammate.
No, you can't.
Because I know they've been wanting to team since they joined.
I think he's replied to you, Martin, saying it's the same as me in a pub after 3 beers that doesn't know what's going on.
Although, speaking of the Haas, that will be the first team announced for Tier 2.
Ooh, okay.
Tier 2.
Who have we got up first?
Well, we have Sander. We've got Hoseman is the first driver for Haas.
I think Gunther's been re-recruiting. I'm sure he's been in Haas before.
Yeah, I think he has as well.
I think he has, but will he spring a leak with the leaky hosepipe, or will he be able to tighten it up this season? While I'm not going to say his name, but speaking of our far and wide reach across the globe, it is our man in China. It is Dora the Explorer, Mr. Dory, Mr. Doris.
I would like to know how to pronounce his. I would like to know how to pronounce his name, and also I wonder whether his name, because I think if he's Chinese, I think the naming convention is that actually the last name you write is your first name, isn't it?
Yes, because of Zhang Yu Zhou, it's other way. It's Zhao Zhang Yu, isn't it? Rather than other way around. So is it Kyu Xie or Hugh? I think that might be the way around.
Doris,
if he's watching,
we want a pronunciation guide, please.
Yes, please. And which way around do you pronounce your name? Because we want to get it right. First and foremost, we want to get it right. Even with me in here, we want to get it right.
So next up will be, unfortunately, the car we don't have on track. It's the Alpine. The French baguette itself.
The Alpine, well, let's have a look.
I think I better do the first name.
Well, yeah, go on then.
Well, it is the man, as you mentioned, Mark, at the top of the stream, and as I mentioned whenever we're together, the man without, well, if it wasn't for this man, we wouldn't be here. It is, of course, Mr. Hills. In the Alpine, he's gone all French with the baguettes.
I have. Well, it's kind of necessary due to the fact that I am now literally sitting in an Alpine when I drive.
Yeah, I mean, I've got rig envy.
Haven't we all?
Say then.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Deary me. Yeah. Well, no. Yes. Change of scenery, because quite frankly, my Ferrari career was an abomination. It's just all gone horribly wrong, and I've just had to run away as quickly as I possibly can. In fact, I got sacked for being absolutely carp.
You know what it is? Ferrari's done its usual thing. It's ruined champions.
It has. Yeah. It's not our fault, is it, Mark?
Because neither of us had a good season. I mean, how many DNFs did I have last season? I barely had that many in my entire MRC career, let alone in one season.
Well, I think that you, I think that you had like a strong section to your season. I had a stronger section at the start, but we both overall didn't do very well, did we?
I know I managed scrape a couple of podiums and somehow finished in the top 7 in the championship, despite only scoring points in 7 races.
I think we were quite even Stevens, weren't we, actually?
Yeah, I think we were like 6th and 7th in the championship. So I think, considering the season we had, we did remarkably well.
We did.
But clearly, Mr. Basseur didn't see that.
No, shall we move on?
Yeah, you can announce your teammate.
My teammate is going to be sociopath Federico Sabelli.
Wow, one of our new drivers, and I've got to say, we've battled him a few times this season, and what a strong driver he is. He's one of my tips, potentially for the championship. Definitely race wins, but I think for the championship as well.
I think he's going to be right up there, judging by what we saw last season at least.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry, just before we move, I do apologize. Doran has come on YouTube. It is Share Hear You. Hey you. Sorry, Doran. But we were right first time. We were right with what we said.
Has he said how to pronounce his name, though?
No,
it's just...
Well, that's what we need to know, because I don't want to be murderising people's names if we can avoid it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to do that anyway. You've got 2 Northerners in here.
And you've got me and Gav as lead commentators, so we do it anyway.
I mean, you can't get much further north than Banshee Land.
No, true.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I struggle to be much north of Bristol, to be honest with you. It all feels a bit peculiar up here.
He's just put on YouTube, See Hey You.
See Hey You.
Doron.
Doran, it's yes. Yeah, I think it's pronounced Shea. Like, with the Z, it's Shea. Oh, See Hey You. Okay, fair dues.
See Hey You. Okay.
See Hey You.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
So, the next
awesome.
team...
I'm glad we can get that right. I'm actually really glad we can get that right. We're still going to call you Dory or Doris, though.
Definitely. It's much easier.
Yeah, it is. But at least we know how to pronounce, so I appreciate that.
So the next one will be a car I was in for 2 seasons on the last game. It'll be the Red Bull. The drinks can itself.
First out of the hat, or, well, obviously not first out of the hat because it's not done on a hat, but hey, is Womax, Ilyan Maximov.
A very, very strong driver, that is.
He is. And his teammate is another strong driver who I think he reserved a few times in Tier 2 last season, and I'm pleased he is in Tier 2 now, is Julian Schoon, DRS Julian, in the Red Bull. I'm pleased. I'm glad he's up there. He deserves it.
My student.
He is your student, yes, true.
He is definitely a very fast driver. I mean, I know his times for a lot of his tracks, and he's either matching me or beating me on times. It's just consistency he needs to work on, really. And then I think he will be up there fighting for the title.
I think you're right.
He's definitely a strong driver.
And these are strong teams, aren't they, so far?
They certainly are.
Yeah.
Well, apart from Alpine, that's kind of half screwed before it even gets started, but hey, we won't talk about that. Right,
you should channel your inner chair, that's what it is.
The next will be the junior version of the Red Bull. The Alpha Tauris.
The pooping hound.
Yes, that one.
Yes, that one. I'd love to know where that nickname came from. Was it Gav? Who
it was Martin.
Was it Martin that brought that? Where did that come from?
Because that's what it looks like. From the side, it literally looks like a dog dragging its butt along the floor. Absolutely hideous pile of poop. Honestly.
It had to be the car I won my title in, didn't it?
Well, that was before it looked like a dog dragging its backside.
No, it was this exact same car.
Oh, okay.
It was this game. It was season 8 I won mine.
Oh, it seems so long ago, Mark.
It really does. It feels like an eternity. So who's the first?
The first person to drive this absolutely hideous, disgusting vehicle is going to be Gatian. Alexander Wieser.
Well, we know he's quite a strong driver. Who's his teammate?
He is.
His teammate is... Well, AlphaTauri are they're Italian, aren't they? So we've got a Scouse Frenchman. So now we've got a Scouse Italian. And Thomas Fanning is going to be in the AlphaTauri next season.
As Gav would say, surprise, surprise!
I'm so glad he's not joining us tonight, because yeah.
He'd be going mental right now.
He would. Actually, where is he? He's normally in the chat by now.
I
He's
think
on a flight.
Yeah, he's on a flight, so he probably can't
Yes, he was
be
in
on.
Basingstoke, wasn't he, poor boy? I don't know if that was by choice.
Basingstoke is particularly dull. Doesn't Connor live around there?
So then,
Possibly.
Connor's Reading, isn't he?
Yeah, it's right next door.
Yeah, that explains a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I know that for you in the north, it probably takes a very, very long time to get anywhere by horse and cart. So you've probably never been there.
Wow.
I've not been to Basingstoke. I've been to London.
I mean, I appreciate the fact you think we're established enough for horses. I was still riding an oxen yesterday.
Well, you must have a very, very long extension cable to get electricity up there. So I don't know how you managed that. But...
Why do you think I moved a bit further down south?
Oh yeah,
I have a windmill outside that's doing it.
I just realised that actually, out of the three of us, I'm not the one that lives most south, am I?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Although I've only been here for 2 years, but I am still the most southern out of the three of us currently.
Yeah.
Based on location of living, but...
Yeah.
Yes.
So moving on, we will go back to the Deverley Triangle. Mercedes.
Mercedes, the first driver for Mercedes is Kaiser Soze. That's Steve Jarman.
The champion of Tier 3.
Yeah, she is. Been promoted up.
And he actually chose that car.
Well, I did. Three times.
You didn't choose the silver one.
No, I didn't.
It wasn't
actually.
a silver
true.
triangle. I'm not talking about
it
this
wasn't.
absolute rendition.
Yeah, I couldn't, and I nearly did, and I just couldn't. No, I couldn't personally. But it's improved, so fair. And his teammate is, well, he's another part-time Palmo hunter. He's also, this is not going to mean anything to you guys, but it will to him. He is also what we call in the area a codhead. And what we call a codhead is someone from a codhead. And that is reference to someone who lives in Redcar, which can only be Redcar Rambo.
A codhead.
A codhead. That's what we call people from Redcar. Don't know why. Please don't ask me. But we honestly, it's called a codhead.
Jesus, the things that count for excitement north of the wall, huh?
We're not. That's the problem. We're not. We're the last defence.
You're the last defence before you get to the north of the wall where Gav is.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
True. He's a White Walker.
He's over to wall. Yeah. So the next one out will be the Bond car, the Stroll Dynasty, Aston Martin. Who's up first?
First person who is going to be in that beautiful green machine is Rob Atwood himself, Genie.
We know why he wants to be there, because it's where Alonso is.
Yeah, and he's been Aston a few times as well, hasn't he?
This is his second
car.
time, I believe.
I think it's a previous. It could be right. I could be. Oh no, it was Alpine. He was Renault with me way back when.
Oh, and Baby Hornet's just to put the car in a wall.
Oh, perfect timing.
Sorry, Simon.
Genie's just popped up in YouTube going, somebody.
I always follow the money.
He follows that money.
Sensible man.
Yeah, fair point. So his teammate is, well, is he the cleverest? Is he not the cleverest? He's certainly the eldest, and that is Chris Pratt, the dumbest Hornet, is Rob's teammate this season.
Now that is a very strong pairing.
Yeah.
Maybe not the quickest, but on consistency, that is a very strong pairing.
And I think in this season coming up with the tracks that we've got, consistency is going to be absolute key.
Yeah, I believe it really is. So let's move on to the Duracell car, the Williams. Who will be up first?
So, first driver for Williams is Laupe, Lauren Fort.
As we know, he's quite a strong driver. Has been in Tier 2 for quite a while, and I believe he's a no-assist driver as well.
Is he now? Did not know that.
Because I think he was wanting to move up to Tier 1 before, obviously, the changes where we're not having the traction off.
Right. That's interesting. I did not know that. He is a very... he's been up there quite a few times this season as well in Tier... Oh, last season, I should say, in Tier 2. So he is a very, very strong driver.
Reserved Tier 1 quite a few times as well.
Yes, he did. Yes. And his teammate this season is going to be my former teammate. The man, the Brummie. It can only be Mr. Andrew Mond. Monster is going to be partnering him in the Williams next season.
Ah, the Monster's going to be a Willy boy.
He is. Yes.
Which leaves us with, I believe, just 3 teams. Which one will be first? It'll be what was affectionately known last season as the admin car. It's the Alfa Romeo. Because it seemed to be a very popular choice last season, did that?
And the most appropriate name in MRC is one of the drivers for Alfa Romeo because it's Eddie Driver, who is Eddie Dust.
Another one of our new drivers who's shown himself very well in Tier 3. I think he's won a couple of races as well.
Yeah, you're right, he has.
And he was certainly hounding me at Japan when I reserved Tier 3. So I think he'll do quite well in Tier 2.
Yeah, I think he's beaten me a few times when he has reserved as well in Tier 2 last season. So it's... Yeah, he's very much on the pace. And speaking of Japan and a driver who hounds and harasses and has been with us quite a long time, it is our resident Qatari, Mr. Alex Edric, is also in the Alfa Romeo, the barbershop, next season, I should say.
I'm sure that'll be a nice change from him for the Bonds.
Yeah.
Because he's been Aston Martin a couple of times, I believe. So that should hopefully be a nice change of scenery. Get a nice haircut while he's there. So the next team out will be the one that we didn't have a very good season in, Martin. Ferrari.
Wow, it's just a rubbish car, isn't it? It's not our fault.
Exactly. They ruin champions. It's bad strategy calls. Ferrari
so
clowns.
These 2 guys are doomed then. They're absolutely doomed.
Poor men.
Well, first up, it's Carl. It's Carl Eden's Bit W.
One of our longest standing members.
He is.
He is, definitely. He's been here since the beginning of time.
And he's finally got that Ferrari he wanted.
Yeah. Well, it makes a change from the Haas that he's currently driving. At the moment.
It certainly does. He's no longer going to be a Haas Hole, he's going to be a Ferrari.
Hull. And his teammate is going to be the man who likes his numbers. It's the Foxy Bingo J Card. Fox River 8 is going to be his teammate next season.
Yeah, another strong driver, was a Red Bull last season. And
yes.
he can certainly be right up there on his day.
Yeah, that springs to mind. I still have PTSD over that.
And that confirms it. Both me and Martin have been fired. So the final team out the hat will be the McLaren.
Oh, here we go. So who hasn't been mentioned? So by a process of elimination, we have apparently it's somebody called Mark Hodgson.
Wow.
Anyone know who Mark Hodgson is?
I've got no words. And you see us northerners butcher language.
It's that fella from up north. The Parmo Hunter.
The Parmo Hunter, yes.
The rum drinker.
Funny enough, I've just finished one. So So can we have a half-time interval so I could top up?
Well, I thought you were going to come round and suck my carpet if that's not too personal.
God. I think I need to set this stream as 18 plus.
Because I spilt my rum on the carpet, didn't I? I mean, God, what's wrong with you people? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I bet people did not expect that one coming on the stream a second ago.
Trust Mr. Hills to bring it downhill.
Yeah.
Shall I announce the other one that's in this team as well whilst I'm here?
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
It's a Mark Denison. Mark Denison.
Talk about
Mark Hodgson and Mark Denison. Both in the same team. I don't know who these people are. Are they new? I think they might be new.
Yeah.
Dying. And you say us Northerners butcher language.
Exactly.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Well, it's you two, isn't it, basically?
It is us. It is us.
It's Team Indecipherably Northern Mark.
Yeah, it's the M&Ms have gone to the M in McLaren next season. We've gone papaya.
Well, you've stayed and I've returned.
You have?
It's M cubed, isn't it?
It is
Certainly
M,
is.
yes. It is.
I have returned to my season 5 team.
Is that how long ago it was?
Yes. 6 and 7 I was in Red Bull, 8 I was in AlphaTauri under duress, and 9 I was in Ferrari getting ruined.
Wow. Fabian's asking, why was I promoted to Tier 1 as a Tier 2 champion? At the time, the rules still stated that you could potentially defend your title in Tier 2, which I chose to do. Or try to defend my title. Now I've seen Tier 2 drivers, I'm not so confident anymore. And then, once that decision was made, the assist changes were discussed and then announced. But I had said I'm going to stay in Tier 2. Should I, though, as the rule, if we go by the old rule, if I finish in the top 3, I think it is, next season, I have absolutely no option but to be promoted to Tier 1. So that is why, Fabian, that is why I am still in Tier 2, guys. I have the opportunity to defend, or potentially defend, the Tier 2 title.
Don't worry, he'll be in Tier 1 next season.
Well, no disrespect, because obviously we get on very well, we're good friends, but also now we're teammates. I do want to get back to Tier 1. I do want to, if not successfully defend the title, to move up. I want to test myself again, because I moved to Tier 1 which was under the last season in the previous game, and little did we know how much the changes would be with the new cars, etc. And I think that completely threw me. It did me a 180, and it was shocking.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have a go in Tier 1, but I think it's going to be a couple more seasons yet before I get there.
You never know. Never know.
I'm aiming for it, though. I've got my sights set, I've got my goal, I want to get to Tier 1. Might be driving around in 20th place every week, but I want to get there.
You know what I felt.
Oh, them guys are aliens.
It was when I was there, even though my setups were completely backwards from what I knew and had to relearn setups and the whole game. Some people took to it like a duck to water, and I took to it like a brick to water. It was still really exciting, and it was a great experience, and I do want to get back there.
I'm pretty sure you will. Speaking of Tier 1, that's the next tier to be announced.
Oh, is it? Okay. Right then.
So, just
Where
bear
are we
with me a
starting?
second, and we will find out where we're starting.
Ryan said, "Bring on the codhead."
I know he seems to be quite buzzing with his new team and teammates, so
Yeah.
I should keep him nicely fired up. One of my old teammates from when I was in McLaren, funnily enough.
Ah.
And speaking of his new team, that's where we're going straight away. It's the Mercedes.
Mercedes Tier 1. Right, well, here we go. So, first up it's Mr. Bailey. It's Chris Bailey.
He's defected!
I thought he was still with Williams. I've just looked and I'm thinking, hang on, I've just seen that. I was like, hang on, what?
So he's in the Williams tonight?
No, he hasn't. He's done a...
For the last time.
This is the last time we'll see Bailey in a Williams as a Willy boy.
That's going to be quite an iconic change. I think he's been there like 3 or 4 seasons now.
Yeah, I think so. Wow.
Well,
I actually did not see that coming. I didn't click on that.
The old Mercedes engine link there. So he's going to have the same engine.
Yeah. So you recognise the sound, but wow.
I'm quite shocked.
I am.
But who's his teammate?
His teammate is... He left for a little while, and I'm so glad he's back, and we all are. Is a man who's been in the chat tonight, actually. I think Chris is going to be very, very happy with his teammate. It is the Dutch maestro. It's Fabian Scholten, Mr. Error Voice. Is going to be in the Mercedes next season.
Judging by his comments in YouTube, I don't think he's going to be too thrilled with that one. But hopefully the really good teammate that he's going to have will soften that blow.
Exactly. I hope so. Nope, you don't have. I hope so.
You've got a good teammate though, Fabian.
You have. He was 5th in Tier 1, I do believe, last season.
Good guy as well, party with him.
Yes.
He's happy with Chris, there we go.
That's all right then.
The blow's softened a little bit.
A little bit. So the blow's softened because you're with the blowhole.
You know what the answer is here? Win the title, you get a choice. I know, easier said than done.
Yeah.
Especially in that blooming tier. So, next up will be AlphaTauri, where I see a Saviour is driving tonight.
Well, that's a coincidence, because that's where he's going to be driving all season.
It's like it was planned.
I know.
Well, he didn't know that. He didn't know that for sure. Didn't. I suppose.
Oh, he did. He was an MRC ex-champion.
He did. I was actually being sarcastic. He did actually know exactly where he's driving because he got to choose because he won.
But who's his teammate?
His teammate is one of the promoted drivers from Tier 2, and that is Dare Brave, or call me whenever you feel like it and your phone works. Call me Brave. It's Dare Brave. It's going to be in the AlphaTauri with Saviour.
Now I'm guessing that people are going to be cheering and jumping up and down because I believe them two are really good friends.
They are. I do believe Saviour was kind of race engineer last season, I think, to Dare.
I think they do it for each other. But
you're right.
Now they'll be partying and racing together.
That's going to be a very interesting dynamic.
Well, it'll be a bit like our dynamic, really, won't it?
Well, yeah, that's true. It will. And if Martin got a proper headset, then...
I can't focus on chatting and driving at the same time. It takes all of my concentration just to keep it on the black bit, between the green bits. It's very hard.
Try doing driver comms.
No.
That is extremely difficult.
Try being in a party with Gav.
All that. Yeah, driver comms are easy compared to
when he's all calm and talking like this, and next minute he goes into "Get that right up, yeah."
Oh, the iconic Hungary moment.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So moving on, we will go to what is our team, McLaren.
So, who are the McLaren drivers in Tier 1? Well, one of them is indeed Calvin. It's BRD Calvin Mack.
Are the promotion from Tier 2?
He is.
Yeah.
He's stepping up to the big boy league.
Yeah, I think he was keen to do that, and what it compared to he was last season. Bit of bad luck, I think, in a few races cost him, and what a championship battle that was. And his teammate, I think he's going to be very happy with his teammate. Well, I don't even know how you'd even give him an introduction. The best way is just to go straight into it, and it is Jason Sargent. J Sarge, multiple champion, is gone to the papaya along with Calvin and his zoo.
That whole Calvin and his zoo thing sort of ground to a halt because he very spoilsportingly changed his name, didn't he?
Well, he went, yeah, but I can't remember what it was originally.
Collins Owl.
Collins Owl, yes, and then he went to BRD and we just called it, well, it looks like a bird now.
And then
So now we kept with it.
the zoo thing started by Gav.
Was it me and Gav on comms when we did that? I think it was Gav and I together when we started that, and then it just snowballed.
Because we've been in the same tier, we haven't been able to do the zoo thing.
True.
It's very hard to do it, obviously, when we're in the tier, so...
Yeah, I commentated a lot on Tier 1 last season, which he was a very regular reserve and a very strong reserve as well for Tier 1, so... Yeah.
So next up we have the Hassholes. Gunther's team. See what a dream he's got this year.
Well, Stefan Rack is going to be the first person who's going to be dreaming of a nice Hass. What?
That's a former teammate of yours, isn't it, Mr. Hodgson?
It is. He is. And I did start partying with him, actually, about halfway through my Tier 1 season, and what a nice guy he is. German, I do believe, along with Saviour. And I'm sure there are many other drivers that we have are German, and he is a very, very nice guy. Yeah, a lot of respect, a lot of time for him. And his teammate, I don't know where this gentleman's from, so if you do know, please tell me, is Anand Thanki, which is the Slayer, is going to join him in the Hassmobile next season.
Believe he? Doesn't he live in London or something?
Does he?
I don't know if he's got an alternative origin. Or am I thinking Laurentia?
Oh, I don't know.
Mr. Sarge might know.
Yeah, Sarge might.
Because I know they're quite good friends.
Ah.
I was going to see what his initials are. Yeah, he's got a GB by him.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Good stuff. So, Anand, you're with my former teammate Stefan in the Hassmobile.
And the next car to be announced is the one that Mr. Bailey is driving for the last time. Williams.
So it's Williams. So who's Williams Tier 1 going to be? So, sliding into Chris's vacant slot is Seppi, SW. Seppi Deakins.
Another very, very strong driver. And his teammate is going to be... He's reasonably new, but raced a lot last season. He is the man you call Daffy, you call Donald, who likes the wet conditions to paddle around. It is Neville Harris, also known as Chatty Duck, in the Williams.
You know what I've just realised? Them two were actually the Haas teammates last season.
Were they?
Yes.
Were they now? Wow.
They've basically upped from Haas and jumped to Williams.
Well, that's interesting.
Wow.
It's not weird because, like, this, I mean, genuinely is randomised. I mean, Mark Denison does sit there randomising things with his little randomiser wheel. So genuinely, they've ended up back together by accident completely.
Yeah, you're right. The only people that actually get the choice. No, yeah, you're right. The only people that get the choice are, as you mentioned at the top of the stream, is the admins or champions kind of get a choice of a couple of the the champions actually get the seat they choose. But otherwise, you're right, Martin. It's completely random. So it's freaky when it does happen.
That is weird. It's happened before as well, hasn't it? I'm trying to think who it was, but it definitely has happened before. But
it has. You're right.
Yeah.
Although
and also, I've got to know, right? So Neville Harris, Chatty Duck. The only duck you didn't mention, because this is aging me, is Orville. And surely surely Neville Harris his name Chatty Duck has got to be Chatty Duck, because Orville was a chatty duck who had Keith Harris's hand up his bum.
Yeah. I can
Keith
fly.
Harris
You
and
can't,
Orville,
Orville. I can.
Yeah, but that's got to be a name, hasn't it? Surely.
I didn't realise Orville was a northerner.
He is. Yeah, he is.
He is.
I tell you he is.
I can't.
I wish I could fly way up to the sky, but I can't. You can. I can't.
While he's there with a glass of rum in one hand and a tab in the other.
That's absolutely a brilliant impersonation as well. Gotta give that to you. That's brilliant. Yeah, how can you forget that? How can you forget Orville? Wow. Sorry, Chatty Duck, when I'm now on comms, you're now called Orville.
Well, that's got to be why he's called Chatty Duck. It's got to be. It can't be any other reason.
Oh, I want to know. I need to know now.
If I'm wrong about that, I will be blown away.
I'll be gutted.
Well, I know
on a postcard.
Seppi's quite happy with the teammate, so
yeah,
they were quite a strong pairing last season as well. So I think the Williams is one to watch.
But it is.
Next team is Martin's new team. It's the Alpines.
The lovely blue car. Well, bloody hell, this is going to be a strong old team. I'll tell you that. Alpine Tier 1 are going to be the guys to watch. So, first up, it's the middle-aged firecracker. It's Dean Lawrence, Kid Dynamite.
I'm so glad that stuck. It is a very strong team because his team is the second posh man after Simon Pratt. Is the man with the double-barrel surname. It's Nick Bannon Thomas, or otherwise known as Nick BT.
That's another team that's the same again. They were the Ferraris last season.
Oh, in that case, they're doomed. They had a rubbish season, didn't they?
Well, Dynamite was strong.
I'm joking.
Did too many last to first.
I think Nick was struggling with the no traction.
Yeah.
I think now he's got it back. If he wants to use it, it will come back stronger.
Yeah, they came 5th in the Constructors last season.
It's about middle of the road like us then.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic team. So,
it certainly is. Let's see who's next.
Just a little... I was going to say, Nick BT is the only person who has actually had the pleasure of meeting me in real life.
Are we calling that a pleasure?
Well, I'm very, very upset by that comment. Your words hurt, Mark. You need to think about what you're saying before you say things like that.
Okay, mister, I can't pronounce things. I'm going to butcher the language. So, next up...
Is Parmo spelt like French? P-A-R-M-E-A-U? Parmo?
I think it's wrong, Mark. Hang on. Hang on. How can you go to two of us? Hang on.
Yeah, you need to be asking that one. Parmo, rum, tab.
Je veux dire un Parmo, s'il vous plaît.
That's the tea-cider.
Yeah. Ryan, I need you back in here. Come on, help me out.
So next up will be the Aston Martins, the Bond car.
So, first out of the hat there is Anthony Huxley Neto. I did not know that was his full name.
Neither did I.
I did. I see it enough on the...
you a smarty pants?
It's on every results page.
I don't read those.
I don't think anybody does. I don't know why I'm bothered doing them.
I do. I put them on Insta. I put them up on social media. I look more of the PSN.
And
Neville's just come up on YouTube
every week as well.
Sadly, his name was not inspired by Orville.
Oh.
What?
Well, why? Why would you disappoint us?
Well, why are you called Chatty Duck then?
Just a name from PSN when I created the account. Dude.
Fair enough.
I don't think this is true.
No, I don't think it is. But his teammate, Anton's teammate in Aston Martin, I realised we've only got less than 20 odd laps left. I'm thinking, wow.
Well, I've only got one tier to go.
Good. We've got Ben van den Emster, which is the man with the old MSN name, as I called it last stream. And that was Mark and Gav completely gone for 5 minutes. With the X's each side, it's G-Star Snipes. Mr. XX, Love Heart, Kisses, Roses, G-Star Snipes, Love You Forever.
But ding!
XX.
Might start calling him Parsnips. It's a bit easier.
Yeah, but yeah, someone did call him that actually.
What, Parsnips?
Parsnips.
Okay.
So
I think
the
it
next-
was. Yeah, I think it was you mentioned that before. You know.
Me?
I think someone's mentioned that.
Stop gaslighting me. That's not true.
So the next team we shall reveal is the Red Bulls, the energy can. Who have we got up first?
First up in Red Bull is Mr. Reese Whitcomb.
The almost champion has been
Oh, that's
promoted
a bit
from the
harsh.
Tories to the Red Bulls. So clearly,
Harsh, but as the commentator in that last race, it was absolutely incredible.
Mental.
Last few laps of Silverstone in season 9 with Reese, and we'll mention the champion shortly. And what a gentleman he is as well. I've spoken to him a lot recently. Yeah, I think he's been promoted. He's done well enough to go from the dog, should we call it, to the bull.
he's definitely a strong one. There's no denying that.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll be right back up there again this season.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think there's no doubt about it. And his teammate next season is going to be Alexander Grosch, which is Confetti Craig.
One we don't know a massive
What?
amount about, but
No.
can be fairly strong on his day.
He can.
Because he did win a couple of races in Tier 2 when he was a reserve. That's why we put him to Tier 1, because he seemed a little too strong for Tier 2.
He's definitely a quick guy on his day.
Certainly is. So we've got 2 teams left. The first one to be announced will be the Barbershop.
So, the Romeos. First up in there is Sergeant Uncle Sam Drees.
One of our newest drafts from the reserve pool.
Yeah, very strong when he did reserve in Tier 2 as well last season, and deserved.
He did
Very
both
deserved.
He did both Tier 2 and Tier 1 last season.
He did. He did. And his teammate in the barbershop is Laurentier Rossu, also known as just Laurentier in Alfa Romeo. That's a good pairing. I like that pairing.
That is quite a good pairing. So that only leaves us with the red dog that is the Ferrari.
The red dog. Oh dear. So, first up in Ferrari is Damiano Ugoni. So that's Ugoni himself.
The
Yeah, the
Champione.
Champione. Yeah,
Ugoni Champione.
he is. And it does seem to be a reoccurring Tier 1 theme that the champions seem to pick the Ferrari next season.
He was always going to, though. He's Italian.
Of course, yes, I think you found that out in Imola, didn't you? Someone found. Fair enough.
I do remember him saying.
that
I
was-
do remember
yeah.
him saying that if he had any choice, it was always going to be Ferrari.
But it was definitely found out, funny enough, in Imola, where we found out that he was actually Italian.
He does sound pretty Italian, to be fair.
Yeah.
In terms of his name, I mean.
Yeah.
Ryan's just popped up in YouTube saying he thinks the graphics are bloody gorgeous.
Love
Oh,
it.
thank you very much, Ryan.
Kudos
That's
to
very
you,
kind of
Mr. Hills.
They did take a little while, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. Had a bit of a retro theme, but had modern cars in it. See?
Well, exactly.
It works
that.
with the
Yeah.
season we're doing. I mean, what we could affectionately call Season X. Our 10th season, the classics.
Season
Exactly
X
that.
makes it sound like we're all racing naked or something.
Wow.
Well, that'd be Triple
I mean,
X.
that wouldn't be new for me anyway. That's how I always race. But you know,
Moving swiftly on.
Not again.
Have we announced Agoni's teammate?
We haven't yet. It is Mr. Coronation Street. Jesse de Grief, which is Corey, is in the Ferrari next season.
Another one that's been pulled up from the reserve pool.
Yeah.
he has. Yeah, he's done a very good job as a reserve as well.
He has. Exactly
And
that.
just to reinforce what you said before, is that if you are a reserve and you do a good job and you are reliable, you will get a seat. It does happen. That's exactly what we do. If you're reliable, you get a seat. If you're not reliable, you probably won't.
Yep,
Sign in.
that's the way it
Just
works.
sign in. That's all you have to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Check in. It takes seconds.
Yeah, like once a week,
Check it.
all you have to do is go to the tier and literally just react with a tick.
Yeah.
So hard.
I'm available.
Even if you're a reserve and you may not get chosen for a seat because there are others ahead of you or other people or the drivers check in, doesn't matter. You check in, it shows you're available, and that's what matters, and that's what gets you noticed. That's what gets you reliable as a reserve, and then you get the full time seat.
So
Simple.
that only leaves us with the Academy tier, Tier 4.
Are we done? Blimey, I hadn't even
Nearly.
realised we were done with tier 1. Okay, fantastic.
Ryan
First out
has
of the
also
hat.
mentioned that you ride racing naked sounds better than Love Island. Ryan, just seriously, the CA's gotten to you, mate.
I'm not quite sure what that even means, but hey, okay.
Although
Love Island. You don't want to know.
Sticking with
Stick
Mr.
what?
Rambo,
Oh God, what are you going to say?
Ferrari is the first team. So who was in the first Ferrari seat, Mr. Hills?
Hang on. Tier 4, Ferrari. Is that where we are, is it? Okay.
It certainly is.
Sorry, I was busily updating graphics in Discord. Right, okay, so first up is yet another person who actually joined us very early on and has had to sort of step away for a bit and has come back, and that is Avinash Hanneman.
It's great to see him back racing. I had many a battle with him a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I did when I first started
Although-
as well, and
Watch out,
Here's-
stewards, he does like a report.
he's gonna love you for that.
Mr.
His
League Manager,
team-
can I hand him my resignation now?
No, denied.
Damn! He's currently writing his first report.
Yeah, probably.
And who was his teammate
The
then?
cut-off.
He's well, he reached a cut-off point. Yeah, students
Yeah,
closed.
801.
Student closed.
801, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. His teammate is going to be Mr. Henrik Schmidt, or Schmidt F122 is going to be his teammate in the Ferrari.
That could be a fairly good pairing. I believe they're both from the same continent as well.
Are they?
Did not know
Are they
that.
indeed?
Avinash is currently writing his first report. Yes, you're right.
So the next team to be announced will be the Triangles. It's the Mercedes.
So, Mercedes, tier 4 Mercedes.
And you are
First-
both right that it is a South African pairing. So
Oh, that's... And that, again, has happened accidentally, hasn't it, I think?
Certainly has. Tier 4 was entirely random.
Yeah. How bizarre.
Oh, the only
Yeah.
one that got a choice in Tier 4, I believe, was Avinash because he's an admin.
Yes, yes.
so the second part is just by happy coincidence.
So Mercedes, first driver in Mercedes, is yet another relatively new member of MRC, which is Nolan Abraham, who is Whitey Manu.
Nice. We're getting
I
new
think
people
they'll-
through the door, which is always good.
And straight into seats as well. Which
Yeah,
again,
he's literally a new recruit straight into a drive, isn't he?
exactly, he is. I was looking going, I must have missed that bit. Not good for me, but great to see that we are getting new people straight up there. That's fantastic. And his teammate is a man who, sorry Ryan, has taken your crown as the super sub last season. It is Marcin and it is Giban in the Mercedes next season.
Giban, one of our long-standing members. He's definitely been here a few seasons.
He has no assist driver as well, and
He's come a
loves to be a
very
reserve.
long way from when he first started.
He has, exactly that, and that's exactly why we have the tier system.
Because when he first came in, he was quite slow, used to get into silly accidents. Now he's one of our cleanest drivers. He reserves nearly every tier.
He does. Yeah. Exactly that. And
Ryan's just said, I am Hulkenberg. I was Ricardo would say, Hulkenberg! So, we'll best move on swiftly. We've only got 17 laps.
Crikey.
The
We've
next
been
team
going for an hour and 20 minutes.
will be
We're having fun. It's good fun.
the Willy Boys.
The Willy Boys. So, first of the Willy Boys is Anthony Stocco, which is Ant Stocco.
Another
Again,
new.
reasonably new.
Yeah, he's
But
had
has reserved quite a lot, hasn't he?
had a couple of good races as well. I believe he's had a win and a second.
Yeah, definitely, and
He
deserved
could-
that seat.
He could be one to tip towards the title, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I've spoken to him a few times before Avinash took over the driver manager role, and yeah, I agree. He's a nice guy. Good to see him in a seat. And the man, his teammate is the man with the trousers, the man with the high waistband, Mr. Simon Cowell, Kyle Sale, Mr. Wee Willy Winkle is a Willy boy.
Winky and a Willy. I must admit that one broke me when it came up.
Sorry, Kyle, but that's yeah. You've got no chance this season, mate. I'm sorry. It's just
God.
we're going to crease.
I suddenly hear that Gav has signed up to run Tier 4 comms all season. So we can go, and here comes Winky and a Willy! Sorry,
boy.
Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I think we've got to apologise to Simon, haven't we? Yeah. As long as he gets a shirt and trousers that fit, so I think he'll be fine.
I don't think you can get him in that size.
But doesn't Wee Willy Winky wear a nightshirt?
I think.
It looks like it. So moving on, we have
Yeah, please do. Before we get taken off air.
what's got to be described as the energy can. It's the one with the wrong corporate colours. It's the Red Bull.
Oh, the most boring car on the grid. Okay, so first up in the staggeringly boring liveried car is Matthew Sullivan, Gecky Matthew.
Who, funnily enough, is driving it tonight.
Is he?
Oh well,
I can't
I believe
actually
he.
see the stream.
I believe he gets a choice as well because he is a commentator.
Yeah, he got
chose
a
that?
choice of 5, and it's potentially one of those options, isn't it, that he got?
Certainly is.
But his teammate is another reasonably new driver, and again, another example of why if you check in and try to race and want to race and are willing, you will get the seats when they come up. It is Andrew Markham, or known as Markham 86, is going to be his teammate and finally a full-time driver as well in Tier 4. So that's great to
Yeah,
see.
I think he's reserved almost every week he's been here, hasn't he?
I believe
think
so.
pretty much
Yeah,
you're right,
he
yeah,
has reserved
yeah.
a few.
Yeah.
And again, if you're a reserve and you check in, we'll give you a seat, even if it's not a permanent one. We'll let you drive a car and everything. You just have to press tick.
Yeah.
So moving on, we go to the junior corporate wrong car, the
Oh, God.
dog,
Oh,
the Alpha Tauri.
I'm struggling to even look at the graphic. It's making me be sick in my mouth. Oh. Okay, well, someone's got to drive it. Sorry, guys. First of the definitely unhappy drivers to be assigned this ugly mobile is Paulo Costa.
Our Portuguese friend who's hopefully finally finished all his exams and is managing to get back racing full time. So that's good to see. Good to see with him.
Yeah, if he can come back as strong as he was, he's going to be one to watch. I remember him making me sweat in Tier 3 a few seasons ago.
Yeah, very consistent driver. And speaking of consistent drivers, there was another one to watch. I think this is going to be a very strong lineup. Is Kendrick Victor, or CBG Sambal, is going to be his teammate next season.
Yeah, he's moving down to Tier 4 to try and gain some confidence back, because he has struggled a bit on this game.
Yeah.
So hopefully a season will help him boost back up. Because we know from the
gotta be
last game
said that-
he was a strong driver.
He was.
We've got some very strong drivers in Tier 4.
We have.
I think Tier 4 is going to be a hotly fought battle this year because we've got some people in there who could very easily be racing in higher tiers very quickly. And obviously Tier 4 is definitely sort of it's the confidence development area, so people are expected to move up out of there, but we've got some very quick people in there because Avinash, right back at the beginning of this lineup, he's a very quick guy once he's got his eye in. And then when you start looking through, some of these guys are going to be giving a good fight, I think.
And here's a tip for the Tier 4 drivers: throw the sat nav in the bin.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere near the top, throw the sat nav in the bin. Get rid of the racing line. Learn to race without it.
And also reserve up as much as you possibly can, because you will get promoted if you're doing well. You're going to be going up to a tier that doesn't have line switched on. So get ready by just reserving. Reserve as a Tier 3 driver or above, as some people have.
I mean, these guys should think themselves lucky. When I joined, we didn't have racing line. We had 3 tiers, and I got chucked straight in the deep end.
That did sound particularly sort of old mannish northern. Back in my day, when I first joined MRC, Whippets and my flat cap weren't allowed to go in car with me.
When I was a lad.
Yeah, when I was a lad, when I joined, we didn't have line and that, lad. We got chucked in deep end and told sink or swim, lad. That were it.
That was pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Had to tie up Shire horse to front of car. Get it to drag round to track.
I love Southerners when they think they just say "t" in everything, and half the time the "t" just disappears. There's not even "the." There's not even "t." It's just gone pub. Gone pub. Gone.
We just do it to aggravate you. It's literally it's deliberate.
Yeah, but never mind all that "t" lark it, lad. Just crack on, lad. Be read.
Yeah,
be read.
Let's crack on to the McLarens.
Tier 4 McLaren team starts off with Scottish Ninja Grant Swain.
And my other student,
who's joined. We've got 2. We've got 2. No, this is 2. We've now got 2 full Scottish lineups with Alan McLaughlin, or Biff 89 MCL. So McLaughlin is now McLaren in Tier 4. So 2 full Scottish lineups in Tier 3 and Tier 4.
McLaren.
I think he's about as far.
I can't even do that one.
I think he's about as far up as you get. He's a very, very strong accent.
Is he?
I've heard their party.
Oh yes.
And he's the one that you can barely understand.
Oh wow.
So good luck to him. Next up will be the Aston Martins. Who've we got there?
Going green for the season. First up is Charlie Manning.
Now there's one who's been here a while.
He has. Didn't he leave for a little while and came back? I think another one that took a sabbatical and then came back.
Yep, he was Ryan's teammate in season 4.
Ah, good shout. Good call. And his
it's
teammate...
no coincidence that people go away and then come back. It has to be said.
Because we're the best league.
Grass is not always greener.
I do hear some horror stories from people coming back from the outside.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Came from Norfolk Wall, did they?
Sorry?
Up North Wall, with Wildlands, lad. Up there with Wildlands. Creepy place, lad. We're dodgy. Deep pockets, short arms.
So, who's with Man?
I'm going to stop doing the Yorkshire, because honestly... it's funny enough, our American cousin, it's not the Stig. It is not the Doug, but it is Doug Hamilton, Necromancer.
Now there's a name who's been around for a while. And I was reading his bio the other day, and he was so happy that he scored points this season.
And in a way, great that he has, full credit, but he's been with us a while, and he is a very strong racer. And I'm disappointed that he was happy that he scored points this season, because he deserves that more often, because he is a really good driver.
But he's come from being a guy who was usually 1 or 2 laps down to actually scoring points, or being on the cusp of points a lot. So he's getting the progression.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm right, he is one of our older racers as well.
Yeah. Oh, Biff Central Scotland, so he's not that far northern.
Sounds Highlands.
Avinash, are you trying to do a South African Yorkshire? We're trying to use MRC, that league feature, there, lad. Or just that league feature in MRC, lad.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes, the
on.
dreaded league feature. But we best move on, because we've got 3 teams to go and about 8 laps.
There's a lot of chat in Discord about the Tier 1 Ferrari team. Everyone's tipping them for the title, so there's high expectations there.
Ooh.
So, speaking of Ferrari, we'll go for a Ferrari engine. The Alfa Romeos. Who've we got?
Alfa Romeo Tier 4 is starting off with Zondas, who is Sam Stanley.
A couple of seasons I think he's been with us now, and he seems to get stronger every week.
He does, yes, you're right with that one. Good to watch, and it's good to see him keep on going, keep on fighting. And his teammate is reasonably new. I think he's been with us maybe about a season now. Is Elias Hermansen, or Dirty Harry.
He's literally brand spanking new shiny out of the box.
Yeah.
He joined a few days ago. So I don't even think we've actually seen him on track yet.
See, that's going to be brilliant to see. That again.
I mean, that is the idea of Tier 4. It's the entry point, so that's the right way of doing it.
Exactly that.
So we'll stick with the Ferrari engine theme, and we will go for the Haas next. Who have we got there?
First up in Haas it's Chelsea himself. He of the deceptive name, because I don't think he's in Chelsea. I don't know, maybe he is in Chelsea.
No, he's South Africa.
Anyway, yes, Sharan Naidoo.
And who's his teammate, Mr. Hodgson?
His teammate is Mr. Brindle Brundle. Mr. Daniel Brindle is going to be his teammate. Another one with an MSN XS Kiss Love Heart Kissing Rose name.
People who were stuck in 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, the last team we don't have a car for, because somebody's got really bad internet. It's the Alpines.
He's got better internet now. He just decided to park it in a dodgy place.
You can't park it there.
Yeah.
You're not Ace Ventura. So who's the first in the Alpines?
The first of the Alpines is Jonathan Cottrell. That's Johnny Smooth.
The Dingle.
The Dingle.
I'm sure you remember the reference.
I do.
I even changed his name to Johnny Dingle for a while.
You did? I remember that. Back in the days we could.
Well, we can.
Well, we can't. It just gets very confusing. They would change every 30 seconds.
That was Connors.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So who's the teammate?
Johnny Bravo's teammate is going to be another man with a very easy PSN to link with his name. Is Nikolai Lima in the French Baguette next season.
So he's a relatively new one. He's done an MRCX race, and I believe he raced the finale with us. So again, nice to get people pretty much straight into cars.
And
exactly
he is
that.
also in the Netherlands, isn't he?
Are we having a Dutch takeover?
He's another Dutch driver, definitely. I'm checking nationalities in the Discord as we go actually today.
I'm getting abuse in DMs now off Ryan calling him a codhead. That just makes that point.
Could have called him worse.
So that brings us to the...
I normally do, but face to face.
That brings us to the end of the reveal. We've done
Does he really?
all 40 teams, all 80 drivers.
Feels like we've only just got
Amazing.
started.
I know, could keep on going. Should we start again?
What I will say though, for the tier 3 and tier 4 drivers, like mainly the tier 3s that have been promoted, if you're worried about the line drop, etc., maybe send us a message and we'll try and get you a coach. Because we do have coaches available for tier 3 and 4 drivers.
We do, you're right, we have a few of the tier 1, some of the tier 2 drivers as well, a few ex-champions as well who do give some of their time, their very valuable time to help some of the tier 3, tier 4 drivers out with exactly that, you're right, and help with setups, help with racing lines, and help you just to learn braking points as well. So we've seen quite a few of the drivers who have really come on quite well. But yes, definitely give us a message, and we'll definitely get you hooked up with a driver coach. Exactly.
Yeah,
that.
I thought I'd throw that out there because obviously I've mentioned about my students as we've gone along, but we have other students that have come along quite well as well. And obviously, in the case of myself, one of mine's now gone to tier 2, so isn't really eligible for coaching anymore.
No.
But my other one, Scottish Ninja, has obviously been working with no line. So that's something we can work on if you need that help. Because I reckon some may be panicking about the promotion. Or wanting to fight for the title, but then worried that, well, is that line going to hold me back? If I have to drop the line, am I going to be the back of the field? But trust us when we say it only takes a couple of races to get used to it.
It does, and I remember I was back in when I joined MRC in season 2, and I can certainly say that we used to run. I think, Mark, you remember obviously, where we used to run the corner, the line, and when we got rid of it, I don't know, was it season 4 we got rid of it, and that initial shift, I honestly panicked, and now. Even if learning a new track, like when Miami came on, when Jeddah came on, even on time trial, I just decided not to use the line and decided to discover it myself. And it's amazing how much you can progress and find your own braking points and your own way of taking corners and attacking the track. And it is more beneficial, I find, with it off.
Yeah, because
Well, yeah, if you're just following the line, what you're trying to do is drive on the same bit of tarmac as everyone else who's following the line, which means that you actually can't fight anybody because you don't learn how to take alternative lines through corners.
Well, sometimes what you find is the line tells you to brake either too early or too late.
Yeah.
I used to find this at Monza turn 1. It actually tells you to brake too late. You brake when it says brake, you end up in that runoff.
Yeah, I found that as well. I agree.
You have to actually brake 20 metres earlier than the line tells you to, which is probably why there's so many pile-ups into
I know
turn 1.
what you're talking about, but yeah. I actually haven't raced with line ever.
Since we turned it off in MRC, I've never used it ever since.
Yeah, I've just never liked it. It makes it feel like you're playing Wipeout or something, not a driving game. It's sort of, I don't know, to me it just feels a bit odd to be looking at a line rather than looking at what I'm doing. That's not supposed to sound dismissive of people who need it, but it just I find it incredibly distracting personally. So it's once you do get rid of it, things suddenly do feel a lot more immersive, it's got to be said.
But
yeah, and I think if you turn that on its head a little bit of what you said there, it's not meant to be dismissive of people who use it, but as a proof of it can be beneficial to take it off, and it is there to encourage people to take that off, to that assist off, and then to push themselves, and that's one of the things we say. We're here to improve and we're here to get better. That's why we have the tiers, and that's one of the things you potentially could try to do.
But yeah, just anybody who's thinking of removing it, have a go. Have the faith it takes you a couple of races and you'll be back up to speed. You may not ever get 100% pace, but you'll be more consistent once you learn your own braking points, and you'll have more fun racing.
Yeah.
And if you are struggling, like I say, drop myself a message or Mark and we'll try and sort you out with a coach.
Exactly.
But
Exactly that. Now, I've got to put this to you, gentlemen, if we move this on slightly. I know we've only got one more lap left us. But Doris put this on, or Doron put this on. As a bit of fun, we've mentioned how strong a lot of drivers are in terms of each tier and who potentially could be up there fighting for podiums, fighting for wins, fighting for championships. But we do, I mean, we do seem to dismiss this sometimes, not on purpose, purely by accident. Who would you guys say in each tier is the better constructor for the Constructors' Championship? Let's start with, well, let's go down the order. Let's go with tier 1, and who do you think is the better or the strongest looking on paper team in tier 1?
I'm just trying to get back to the tier 1 graphic so I can look at everybody at once.
So,
Wow. It has to be said that there are some very strong pairings in that. Yeah, I mean, Ferrari is a strong looking team. I mean, Ugoni and Corey together will be very, very rapid. I think Calvin and Sarge as well. It's got to be said. I think
that's one that's literally screaming at me.
Yeah,
it is a little bit to me, but the one that's really screaming most is the Williams boys. It's Seppi and Chatty Duckers screaming to me a little bit.
Yeah, they were very strong last season, so that could be a good shout. What about tier 2?
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be the Papaya.
Yeah, it's got to be McLaren. Bias.
I know. Yeah, we're not allowed to do that anymore, are we? We got accused of that once, so we're not allowed to.
I bet Mr. Hills is going to say Alpine.
Yeah. To be honest, I can't. That for me is. I'm looking at all this now, and that's a scary looking tier.
it is. I think every single team is really strong. I can't see a team that isn't going to be hugely competitive. That's a tough one, isn't it?
It
really is.
I'm looking at the Hasses of the Leaky Hosepipe and Dora the Explorer. I'm also looking at the Alfa Romeo of Eddie, Dustin, Alex. I'm looking, of course, the Alpines there. I am actually looking, and that's not being bad because you're on stream. I'm thinking it is a very, very strong lineup in general.
Mercedes.
I think the most consistent. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, Mercedes. Ryan's said to me a few times already. He's now. I don't know. He enjoyed last season, but he's really focused next season. We know how strong Kaiser is. I'm looking at what I think probably the two are some of the most consistent drivers. As Bailey is going to get sacked for his podium emoji. But Genie and Dumas and the Aston Martins are a very, very strong, very consistent lineup. So I think that is probably going to be one of the that's going to be hard to call.
What about tier 3?
I'm looking at Mercedes with E17 and Jackster at the moment. That's the first one that jumped out at me. But then I'm looking at the Alpines as well.
Yeah, I think the Alpines will be strong.
I think Williams.
Possibly, yeah.
Tyrone was in tier 2 and strong. Firehooster's got history in tier 2 as well, being very strong. So I think that's going to be a very, very strong lineup.
And we'll just ignore the Aston Martins.
There's going to be some comeback.
I think
on that,
Williams in that tier is looking pretty strong as well.
Yes, especially with Fire Rooster. Ex-champion.
Exactly. I'm most interested to see how the Alpha Tauri boys do with Rotterdam and Giordone. I think they are. I'm very interested to see how they do. But in a very positive way. I hope they have a really good season because they've come up, of course, and that's. I'm looking forward to seeing those guys adapting and getting up to speed, which we know they can do, and we know they have the pace for that. So that's a really strong looking team as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how well they do.
And finally, tier 4.
I'm kind of looking at the Scottish boys.
Yeah, I am. For me, it's the McLarens.
But Chelsea and Brindle and the Hasses are strong, and we know Daddy Harry's strong as well. Avinash
and Ferrari.
Smith. Yeah, the Ferrari boys, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Ferrari
again, there's
looked
about
pretty
3 or
scary.
4. Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 teams in each tier that are looking very, very strong here.
It really is. But there we go. That's everything announced for Season 10. Now we just need to wait till next Friday to go racing.
We do.
Well, at least this wasn't even remotely the longest that one of these has gone on for, but it's been an interesting evening, hasn't it? An hour
I
and
still
45
remember the one
minutes in.
where Gav spent an hour and a half trying to make something work.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
when, it's
yeah,
when we were
that
trying
one.
we were trying to live stream with cameras, and it was it did not want to cooperate, and we got
Yeah, you were trying
we
to
could
have
get
cameras and a laptop or something, weren't you, with the graphics on screen? And it just wasn't like
yeah, I mean,
it.
basically, we wanted to. Well, we were trying to do something a little bit different visually, but it was very complicated, and Gav was trying to use all sorts of bits of wizardry to make. I can't remember what it was, but it was basically like a video conferencing chat appear alongside the graphics on the screen, and stream it all to YouTube, and basically
work.
those things did not want to play together, and there was an awful lot of swearing happening behind the scenes, to be said.
Yeah, it was, and I think this has been great fun. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. I hope everybody's enjoyed being part of it, the interaction in the YouTube chat. I hope everyone loves their teams and their new teammates as well. For those who have got new ones, and the complete randomness that was the draw that suddenly ends up with teammates completely jumping ship, which
Yep.
is really
Well, speaking of
strange to
somebody
see.
I believe might be happy, I think a blowhole's just joined the party.
Hello.
He has. What do you think of
Interloper.
that?
Apologies, I thought the stream had ended. I am very sorry.
No, not quite.
No, we're going for the 2-hour mark, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're feature length.
We're not.
We're
We're,
not-
we're about to go off air, but
Avatar's got 3 hours and it's got nothing on MRC. That's what we're going for.
but since
love
you're
that.
here, are you happy?
Very. I had a very fun fight with Saviour. We both ran out of fuel and were tiptoeing for about 30 laps.
What do you
But it
think
was
of your
fun.
new team? I mean, that's completely shocked probably most people actually for you to run away from the Willy boys.
I mean, firstly, it was very hard to watch the stream and pay attention and race, so you guys kept me entertained, so thank you. But also, I'm very excited for my new project. And Error, my duchy, I'm excited to play with him.
And he's currently just gone running, I believe.
He has.
A
Now,
Mercedes and
don't
a blowhole playing with him. He's gone running.
Look,
Yeah, don't
he's
pass the duty
MRC's
to that hand
Yano
side.
Upmere.
Yeah.
He's MRC's Yano Upmere, our friendly, fun duchy in a Mercedes.
Exactly. He is.
And yes, we will have fun. We're
Well,
going
there
to
we
take the
go.
Constructors' Championship. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
So, on
Lovely
that note,
conference.
thank you for joining me, Mark and Martin. It's
been
a fun one.
great fun. It has been very
It's been
good
a bit
fun.
of a giggle, hasn't it? Yeah, that's. I mean, that's. Unfortunately, like if you just presented it as dry facts, it's not the most exciting thing to do. So we always try to make it a little bit silly.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It's the only way we can try and make this in any way entertaining. It's why we have a race on in the background, just so there's something to watch.
Yeah.
Although having said that, people are always desperate to hear and desperate for this stream to happen. So thank you everybody for watching. I'm sure we've had a decent amount of viewers on this one tonight.
Yep, certainly have.
Exactly,
Right.
and I do apologise how northern and Yorkshire we went. I'm
Thank you.
not sorry, but you know.
Anyway, thank you, boys.
Thank you.
So, from everybody here, it's good night.
Good night, everybody. See you for season 10.